Here is a basic video to explain how I set up Premiere Pro when I go to edit a new project. Other people might do it differently. This is how I do it. I always recommend keeping everything on an external hard drive, footage and your project. That way you don't load up your computer hard drive with footage, because video footage takes up a lot of space. It also just helps you keep organized, and if you switch computers, you have it all on one hard drive. So let's start with, let me show you. So I have a folder here with card game footage, which is one of the assignments for editing one. In the card game footage folder is all the video clips. And then I'm going to put the project in this same folder. And then also any graphics I might add, renderings, and so forth will all be in that same folder. So let's start with booting up Premiere Pro. Go to New Project. And then up in the upper left-hand corner here is you title your project. Calling it Premiere Setup Demo. And then over here is the folder where I'm going to keep it. Project location. Choose location. So I'm on a Mac, PC might be different, but here it shows you the hard drive, card game footage. I'm going to select that, choose. Now and then I'm going to hit down here in the lower right hand corner is create. So now my project is created. And just to show you, I'm going to minimize Premiere, go into my hard drive, go into card game footage, and there it is, Premiere Setup Demo. The project is in the same folder. So we've gone that far. Now we're going to import our footage to get started here. You can adjust these windows. I'll give you a little tour here. You have your source monitor here. This is your program monitor. Down here is your timelines. It's labeled timeline. That's where you're going to lay out your video. Here's where your source material will be down here. And there's different tabs. Here's where the video is. Media browser is a different way to import media and keep track of different drives on your computer. I don't use that very much, but other people might. Effects tab is very important. This is all your different effects, and these folders are filled with all different types of effects, which we'll get into. Markers and history, but those are the three most important ones to worry about. Here's your little toolbar, which you can actually customize that. Over here is your audio meters. And then over here in Premiere is this drop down. See where it says editing? This is another tab, drop down menu, that opens up different workspaces. So the ones we'll use mostly is editing, of course, color, and captions or effects, which we'll get into possibly in other videos. The most important one you need to know is editing and audio. We might touch on audio too, I think, in one of the videos. So we're going to import our footage. So you can start by, down here it says import media, or this is the way I learned, so I stick to it. You'll learn that you kind of learn your early habits and you stick with your habits. I'm very mouse heavy with the way I edit. Some people love the keyboard shortcuts. Everyone has their own style. So this is how I import videos. I go to File, drop-down menu, and go to Import. And then here is just to show you, go back to the desktop, go back to the T7, card game footage. Now you don't want to, make sure you don't import the project into itself, but you can highlight all the footage for the card game, and then just hit import. And you see they all appear right here, down here in your media window. This is your project window, I guess you could call it. Yeah, they call it the project window. So here's all your clips, and you can look at your clips in different ways. You can look at it like a list, which is what I'm used to. You can also resize and reshape these windows by grabbing the edges of them. Down here in Premiere, you can look at them as little windows or bigger windows. So I keep them as a list. If you want to rename your clips, if you want to organize them, you can just click on it like that, highlight the blue, don't erase the movie, and you can relabel that clip, you know, like opening shot or whatever you want to call it. I work very quickly. I don't get into labeling shots and so forth. I've edited too many years, and I just, unless I'm doing a movie or a short film, corporate work, I might label it, but that's a personal preference thing. So that's the media. Here's the timeline where we're going to build the video. To start a video, you go to File drop-down and hit New Sequence. And here's your sequence settings. You can just let that be, but you can title your sequence at the bottom. So, Premiere Setup Demo. Hit OK. So now it automatically creates the timeline. Now, when you, I'll show you this later, but let's drag a clip on there. So you can start your timeline by just dragging your first clip. And it'll ask you, change sequence settings or keep existing settings. So if you want it to match the video you're starting with, you hit change sequence settings. Now the sequence is the proper format with the video you're starting with. So I don't know why there's audio on channel 1 and 3, but it's not important right now. So you can see this is your video. It's a graphic representation of the video. And the blue is your playing needle, and that's going to move and go across the video. So there it is. That's the shot. That's the video. The playing needle is moving across the video. This is your, what we call a clip. So these are all your clips. So there's many different ways to edit. This is when we're going to get into the, it's a little more intensive. I just wanted to show you how to set it up, but just to show you two different ways you can edit. You can just drag and drop additional clips on the timeline, and they'll snap into place. Okay, so two basic ways to edit. You have insert edit and overwrite edit, which I'll show you right now. Now there'll be other tutorials that will get into more fine-tuning editing. This is just a very basic setup. You have your timeline, you have your video, you have your audio. You want to make sure that they're patched, so the video is going to the video and audio is going to the audio. And double click on the clip here and it'll appear in your source monitor. You can mark an in. Then you can mark an in on your timeline, and that in will match up when you edit it. It'll put this here, but actually that's the same shot. Let's do something else here. Close-up of cards, double click on that, mark an in. You can see I can just grab these playing needles and just move them around. And here's your in mark. So overwrite edit will just delete everything that's highlighted underneath. Now I just marked an in, so it'll just give me the rest of this shot. So I mark overwrite, and you can see it just deletes that. Let me do that again. See, it just deletes it. So I'll undo that. Now if you insert edit, insert will push back everything that's highlighted. It'll put the new clip where the playing needle is and then push this back. See how it pushed that back? I'll do that again. See, it pushes it. So that's insert editing and overwrite editing. And a lot of times I just grab clips and just drag and drop them from the source monitor onto the timeline, and I'll play with them down here. And then you can also, again, I'm very organic the way I edit. You can just, by default, the pointer will grab the end of these clips and you can stretch them and squeeze them and so forth. That's called trim mode, but there's also other trim modes in another video I'll get into. Again, these are the basics today. And you can see you can resize these windows. You can make your video fatter, and you can also, this little zoom device stretches your track out. So you can fine tune, really dig into an edit or so forth. You can also make them, when you do audio editing, you might want to expand the tracks so you can see your audio waves. So you can manipulate all that. You can really dig in. And then I'm just scrolling with the mouse, on my finger on the mouse, to do this, to go back and forth. Or you can just grab this and go like this. So many different ways. It just takes practice. But you can see this is the actual audio waves here. And the space bar is my play and stop. So play and stop is up here, or I can just hit the space bar. So that's basic setup. Again, there'll be other videos, and there's another video tutorial I put on there from YouTube, but this is sort of the way I basically set things up.